Alright, let's take on String Reverse. You're 31. Uh-oh. This looks interesting. How are you today? Haha. For each zero terminated string in the inbox, reverse it and put the result in the outbox. Repeat. Wow. Alright, so this is going to be a long series. Actually, no. Okay, so here's what we want to do. We're going to use this as our address. Inbox, copy to address. And then repeat. So bump up address. Alright, so this will keep feeding it until it's got the entire word in there, and then once we receive a 0 from the inbox, alright, so we're initializing the string here. Once we've initialized the string and received that 0, okay, we have to undo that last bump because it didn't get fed a new character. Then we copy from no, we're going to do this another way. No, we can't do it that way. Okay, copy from that address. Repeat that. And then once we receive a 0 there, oh, yeah, we need to output that. Okay. Alright, and then once we have the last character, we output that. And I guess we restart. Okay. So that's Alright. Output. Let's just see where we're at here. Whoops. I missed a step. I can make that indirect, but it's always going to be 0. I think that's right. Be able to reduce the command count if I reiterate the address value first. I think that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So if we initialize, we bump that up, that's going to be 1. So everything always starts in 1 until the final character. And if we receive a 0, nope, the address still needs to get bumped down. So that doesn't matter. Well, let's see what it looks like. So then it goes to 5. Okay, now the problem here is now that when we jump to 0, the whole word will have been enumerated, so we just run to a init. There's no final output, right? Take one last look at that. So we did it in 2 loops instead of 3, with a 1-off for the final character, by iterating the address first, so that it was a non-zero value, and we can take the 0 value as just nothing left to go back to the beginning. Okay. Inventory report. So are we counting? Counting verification. Surprise audit. These are a few of my favorite things. For each thing in the inbox, send to the outbox the total number of matching items on the floor. Okay, so if we take a value of C, subtract B, what do we get? 1. Alright, so we're looking for a match of 0. Okay. So let's start over. We're going to set this to our count. No, we're going to leave that as 0. I don't know why. Okay, so this is going to be our 0 no matter what. This will be our count. So, when we initialize, we're going to set our count to 0. Need an address for what I'm thinking. So we grab our first character. Sub. The address. If it's 0, that's where we iterate the count. If I bump an empty cell, what happens? Okay, it's an empty value, so I can't do that. Alright. So I bump up the count, and I bump up the address, then jump to the next character. No, jump to the next. Comparison. And I have to re-add the value from the address. Oh wait, I need to store the value too, don't I? Okay, add copy to me. Because I think when I bump the count, that replaces what I have with the new value from count. Then when I bump the address, that replaces what I have with the new value from the address. Then I copy from the value, and then I subtract the new address. Okay, that's all for if 0. So that's our init. This is our check. Okay, so we check inbox, subtract A. If it's 0, we iterate. Otherwise, add the value of that address back. Whoops. Address back. Redo the check. Okay, so everything happens within the iteration. We add the address back, so we get our value back, copy that to value, bump count, bump address, copy the value back, and then we start the next check. Okay, and then How do we reset? To break this thing just so I can test something. So copy from 0, copy to B, inbox, sub B, or 0. What happens if we subtract 0 from our character? We should have the character, right? Okay, so we have to check for 0 in that next cell before we do the comparison. Subtract the address. If it's 0, that means we have a match. Iterate. So before we can check the address, add the address, copy to V, copy from address, and if it's 0, oh, because we still have to output. Okay, if it's 0, copy from count and output, and then reinitialize. We can actually move this down here since inbox is going to be part of the initialize. Okay, so copy from 0 to count, copy from 0 to add. Well, copy the 0 from count to add at that point. So we have our count and our address reset to 0. Grab the letter from the inbox, subtract the first address. If it's 0, we iterate the count. Otherwise, we add the value back so we get our original value. Copy that value to our value field. Bump the address. Copy from that address. If that's 0, then we're at the end of the letters on the floor, and we output our final count. Otherwise, we jump to the beginning of the check. After we copy our value. Subtract the new address. Okay, I think that's it there. Now for iterate, if we have a 0 value here, we add the address back to get that value, store the value, bump up the count because we found one. Bump up the add. Copy from V. Okay, so we probably don't need this. We can probably ditch that and jump to here. Let's try that out. I think that's it. I can subtract letters, but I can't add? What's up with that? I'm not talking to you. Alright, so. So, none of that works because we all assumed that, well, we all. The entire series is based on the assumption that we can add the value back and get our original value. And that doesn't work. So part of the initialization is then copying our inbox value to V. Then we subtract from the indirect address. If it's 0, we iterate. We don't need to re-add. We don't need to copy to V. We just need to bump the count and bump the address and then jump back to copy from V, which then takes us back to the beginning of the check where we subtract the next value. Okay. That's if it matches. If it doesn't match, we still don't need to add. We still don't need to copy to. We just bump up our address. Copy from it to check for the 0. And output. Otherwise, we copy from B and we start the check that way. Alright, now let's try it. I think I'm missing something else here. So and I can't scroll. Alright. Can't bump with the letter. Is that the one place I had it wrong? Yep. Okay, the rest of those are right. I knew I was missing something. Alright. Value of 1. Wait, what just happened there? Oh, it's checking for 0. Okay. Out of 0. So we can save a step then. If it's going to get the value of the letter when it's checking for 0, we can just check that against the value, and if that's where the match occurs, then we can iterate the count. We don't have to check for 0 and then go grab the value and check for that. We can just bring the result of the check for 0 back to the value. this is taking so long. I think I just want to do that instead of letting it finish and seeing where we're at. Alright, so once we get our value, we copy it to V. Now what we want to do let's remove this. So we're going to copy from the address. If it's 0, yeah, this is for the check. Okay, copy from the address. If it's 0, we'll do the check. Otherwise, we have the value from the address, we subtract. No, we don't subtract that, we subtract actual V. Alright, subtract the value. If that's 0, iterate. Otherwise, we bump the address. And jump to the beginning of the check. Where is this coming from? Okay, that's after we iterate, so now that needs to go there. Alright, let's follow through this. Copy from 0 to count and address. Grab the value from the inbox, copy that to value. Then we begin our check. Copy from the indirect address, sorry. If it's 0, then we're at the end of the inventory. And go to output of the count. Get count, that jumps all the way to the beginning, right? Yeah. Otherwise, if it's not a 0, we subtract the value from value. If that's a 0, then we iterate the count. Bump up the count, bump up the address. That'll give us the value of address. So we jump back to here. We copy from the indirect value of address. And do it again. Alright, that should be everything. That should be pretty damn optimal. Not a 0. Not a 0. Not a 0. Not a 0. So on address 4, we'll see the count go up 1. Alright, so final test is to see if it's going to output 2 and or terminate at 0 like it's supposed to. Winner. Value 3 for X. Value 5 for B. 3 steps there, or 3 additional steps that don't have to be there. If we move this to the very beginning, then it won't do those last 3 checks before or after the last numbers fed to the outbox. So it brings our steps down to 390. What does it say my commands were off by? 1. I have 1 additional step in here that I don't need. I think it's this. Oh, I guess it is, because it's not going to save us on steps, but it is going to save us on commands. Let's try it. So long. This is 16 commands. It's a few more steps though. Alright. Because that's 2 jumps instead of 1 within that same series. But we got both of the optimizations in, so I'm happy with that. That last one took a little bit longer than I expected, so I'm going to end it here. But yep, thanks for watching. See you next time.